In this video, we're going to be talking about how search engines work, the process that Google and Bing use to generate search results. So, for example, if we just do a search, so I'm going to search for FBA rate card, you'll see it generates a list of results and it does it in 0.24 seconds. So that's amazingly fast. And also, if you type in here at the top in the search box, it'll immediately bring up a list of related search terms. So how is it that Google generates these results so lightning fast? Its secret is it's not actually searching the web every time you put in a search. It's searching its representation of the web, which is called its index. To generate results, search engines employ three processes. First, crawling. Search engines search the internet for content, analyzing the code and the content of every URL they find. Secondly, they store and organize this content in a process called indexing. Once a page is in the index, it is eligible to be displayed as a result for relevant queries. Thirdly, ranking. Search engines serve the content they judge to be the best answers to a searcher's query, ordering by the most relevant to the least relevant. Search engines do not achieve this by searching the web, but by accessing a massive web content database called the Search Engines Index. This database holds information about the content of millions of websites. For example, the text, the images, and the videos they contain, and their links. Search engines use automated programs called robots, also known as spiders, bots, or crawlers, to investigate new websites and record any changes to the pages already in the index. This process is known as crawling. New content will be discovered by following links. Now we're going to discuss crawling in more detail. There is no central registry of all web pages, so Google constantly looks for new pages and updated pages and then adds its page to its index. This is known as URL discovery. Many pages are known to Google as they've already visited them. Other pages are found when Google follows a link to a new page. For example, when a blog post is created, it will generally be linked to by a category page. Other pages will be discovered when you submit a sitemap for Google to crawl. So if we consider the BBC website, a popular news site in the UK, every day it will be publishing new news stories. If we look at the latest story which was published today, this is a junior doctor strike in England that was only published today like an hour ago. This page will not be in Google's index, but Google will know about the UK category page. It will already visit that page. It will frequently revisit this page and follow links from this page to discover new articles. The BBC will also be submitting a list of pages to Google known as its sitemap, and Google will also be able to discover pages through that. When Google discovers a new page's URL, it may visit, or also known as crawling, the page to find its content. To do this, they use a colossal server farm of computers to crawl billions of web pages every day. The program that does the crawling is known as the Googlebot, and it's also known as a crawler, a bot, or a robot, or a spider. The Googlebot decides algorithmically which sites to crawl and how often to crawl them. Bear in mind that the Googlebot does not crawl every page it's discovered. Some pages may be blocked from crawling by the site owner. Other pages may not be accessible either intentionally or unintentionally. For example, they may be behind a paywall. We'll be discussing this and more in a later video. So we've talked about the process of crawling web pages. Now let's talk about the process of indexing, which is on this diagram, analyzing page content and storing in the index. Once crawled, Google tries to understand the page. This process is called indexing, and it includes processing and analyzing the page's contextual content and the key content tags and attributes. These include the title elements, the alt attributes, the images and videos. So if we consider a website, this is a website for my favorite hat shop. The elements that will be indexed would be the content. So this would be the category titles, the page content. So you've got the body content here, and also that's a title tag. And it would also look at the images, and it will pass the content to the images and also any alt tags on the images. The alt tags is the so-called alternative text, which appears in the code and will tell both Google and screen readers what the content of the image is. We'll also look at the page title. That is the content that appears in this, the name of the tab at the top. If we look at the code, we can see these details. If we look at here we've got the meta name, the title, and it says that's the title which appears here at the top. And it also has a meta description. This is other content which gets picked up. That is the content that appears in the description on the search engine results page. Also keywords. This is something which isn't really used anymore, but as a meta, there's extra content there. If we look at the page content, we look at H1, that is a heading tag. Google will look at the different elements of the page and how the content is split up. So we've got here, that's H1 tag, that's a first heading, and then we've got the paragraph. And depending on how the content is structured, Google will give more weighting to some elements over others. We'll be discussing that in a future video. During indexing, Google will determine whether a page is a duplicate of another page on the internet, or canonical, that is the original content. The canonical page is the page that might be shown in the search results. To select the canonical, Google first groups together, known as clustering the pages that are found on the internet that have similar content, and then they select the one which is most representative. Other pages in the group are alternative versions that may be served in different contexts. For example, if a user is searching on a mobile device or looking for a particular page. Google also stores signals about the canonical page and its contents, which might be in the next stage when it ranks the search results. Signals will include the page's language, home country, and usability. For examples of canonical pages, take a look at a site like Amazon. This is a page for the book that I've written, available at all good bookshops. If we look at this, so this is the URL at the top here, and you can see it's got both the name of the product and also that's the ISBN of the product. Now, that's one URL which can be used to access this product. If we delete this bit here, that URL will also access this page. So what is effectively happening is you've got two URLs which Google will consider to be two different pages to access the same content. So what Amazon and similar sites will do is they will label one of them canonical to say, look, this is the most important, the original version of this page, ignore the other versions. And therefore you don't get, you reduce duplicate content problems on your site.